Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, JNM, tell me your financial situation. How to not let MIL's behavior taint memory of wedding day. Proof Mil is delusional. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. JNM, tell me your financial situation. JNM is back with more vengeance than ever before. This all happened this morning. I was talking on the phone with my amazing boyfriend, when out of the blue I get a FaceTime call from my mother. I decline it and respond, "Can I call you later? I am busy," to which she responds with a phone call, which I begrudgingly answer thinking it's an emergency. She goes off the rails demanding to know how much money I have in my savings and the like. I follow the gray rock suggestion many of you mentioned, which does not work. She still is unleashing her inner entitled parent. She is going off on this, I think, because I told my grandmother about concert tickets I just purchased for us and made a slight joke about how expensive it was. Basically, I splurged and spent a paycheck on them as an early Christmas/birthday gift for us, no issue. JNM then proceeds to scream and insist I tell her how much I have in my savings. I refuse to tell her, and then she's telling me, "I'll tell you how much I have in my account." I tell her no, that it's none of my business. I fear a later call when she is going to demand again. What should I do? First, you should stop answering her calls. She could have texted. The "it could be an emergency" is a button your mother installed in you at an early age so that you would always panic and default to "must answer mother at all costs," and you've normalized it to "but maybe it's an emergency." New tactic for you. Never answer right away. That cringy feeling you get deep down in the out of your stomach? That's part of the installed button that makes you answer all questions just to appease. Second, from now on, let calls go to voicemail. Take that 5 minutes to hyperventilate that your mother is dying in a ditch and you just missed your chance to have a tearful goodbye over the phone, and then text, "Sorry mom, can't talk right now, what's up?" If she calls again, which she will, you don't answer for 30 minutes. Then you may call back and say, "Hey mom, what's up?" She will grill you on what could possibly be more important than her, and how dare you not drop everything. Stay calm and say, "Mom, what did you want to talk to me about?" Don't get sucked into justifying yourself. Get in the habit of not being at her beck and call. Memorize stock answers that you never deviate from. This is part of the gray rock technique. "I'm not discussing that with you." "But why? I'm your mother." Reasons. As I said, I'm not discussing that with you. More determined, why? You be silent. Third, stop giving her reasons. Reasons are you agreeing that she has equal status in your adult decision making. Hang up on her when she screams at you. "Sorry mom, it doesn't sound like you're ready to have a healthy conversation today, so I'm gonna go. Love you, bye." Say it to her while she's screaming and hang up. If she calls back, answer. "Hey mom, ready for a healthy conversation?" Presumably she will still be screaming. "Whoops, sounds like today isn't going well. I'll talk to you a different day when you're feeling better. Love you, bye." And hang up again and ignore her for 24 hours. When she calls the next day, rinse and repeat. Angry/insulting texts and emails do not get answered. Flying monkeys? I'm just trying to have a healthier relationship with mom where she doesn't just scream at me on the phone. Honestly, I can barely understand what she's saying when she acts this way, so it's impossible to have a conversation. So I try not to talk to her on days where she can't control her rage. I'm starting to think she should see a therapist. Can you help convince her? If she's nice to me, I'm happy to talk to her. One day, years ago, out of the blue my mother demanded to know exactly where I was going to be when I went out. I was a full-blown adult by then, certainly taking care of myself and in my own space, so it was a surprise. I tried to get at why she wanted to know, what she was asking for, if she has some particular concern, but all I got were imagined scenarios about hypothetical reasons she should always know my exact location. I suspected at the time that one of two things happened. Someone told her they saw me somewhere she didn't expect me to be, and she panicked. She felt some loss of control over something and tried to take it back this way. It sounds like your mom could be in the second camp. She sees you living your life and making choices she wouldn't make or valuing things she wouldn't value, and it sets her off. She feels like if she can get more information, she can get more control. When this happened to me, I did not treat my mom's request as a valid request. I asked her what was bothering her and why she was asking, and she couldn't articulate any of that, and she let the subject drop. She did not like that I had my own expectations for our conversation. Don't give her this information. Inquire about what concerns she has if you must, but tell her you have everything under control and that she has nothing to worry about, and let that be all the answer she gets. Be direct. My financials are not your business. I have told you this. Ask again and I hang up. Harass me and I block your number and all methods of communication for a week. Then follow through. This is the way. I'd also suggest throwing in "I've got it under control" just to underline that SHE doesn't have any control over your money. I fear a later call when she is going to demand again. What should I do? Not answer the phone. Take a warm bath, have a glass of wine if that's your thing, while you are not answering that call. I'd also block her number. Fun fact, it won't go to voicemail. It'll just tell her that the person isn't accepting her calls. Well, my phone carrier does that, at least. I've got it under control. Asked and answered. It's still none of your business. I will not allow you to verbally and emotionally abuse me again. I will not discuss my personal finances with you. Do not raise your voice to me again or I will block you. You need to sit down and write up some boundaries. Your grandma is a Jane maybe. Start limiting what you say to her. You keen saying no. End of. Let her screech. If she does, say, obviously, you're too emotional and irrational to be having a serious conversation right now. Calm down or I'm hanging up. And then do if when she doesn't. Stop taking her calls. Mute her. Hang up when she starts screaming and block her. How to not let MIL's behavior taint memory of wedding day. Does anyone have any tips to not let my MIL's behavior overshadow my wedding day memories? TW, MIL's negative comments about autism. My partner and I got married a month ago in a cozy, beautiful, loving ceremony. It was a great day and we were surrounded by so many loved ones. When I think back on the day, however, my overwhelming memories and feelings are about frustration with my MIL. She has a rather negative and domineering personality. For just a snippet, here are just some of the things she did on our wedding day. I first saw her and everyone, and she didn't even say hi or congratulations. Just talked nonstop about how much she didn't like her hair and how she didn't like the hairdresser. No talk about the wedding or what a special day it was, just all negative thoughts about her hair experience. We had a bridal tea the day before the ceremony with my bridesmaids and mom. She spent the bridal tea complaining to my mom about how difficult it is to care for her son with autism, how he's like an animal, and she wonders if my partner and I will care for him in the future. My brother has severe special needs and future planning is a stressful conversation I've grown up having with my parents, but there's a time and a place for it. Caregiver future planning wasn't the focus of a fun, relaxing bridal tea. She was vocally angry because the handkerchief I got my FIL had a poem on it and hers just had her initial. She talked about her handkerchief with such disdain. She is still really upset about this. She screamed at the hotel reception because they weren't watching her adult son who has autism. This isn't their job, and he went off to get his headphone without her realizing it. This was while we were lining up to drive to the ceremony. He got the headphones and came right back. 5 minutes before I walked down the aisle, she came up to me frantic and berating me about why I didn't have my partner's Celtic cross, which she had never mentioned to me before that moment. When the food came at the reception, she loudly lamented to my whole family, "Who in the world chose this food? What is son with autism supposed to eat?" Overall, we had a beautiful wedding day. In the moment, I just let these events roll off my back. Now that the wedding is over, however, I just find these instances are the first things I think of when I think of our wedding. Write down all the happy memories of your wedding in a journal, and every time you start to think of the negatives, read it. This. Retrain your brain. When you catch yourself remembering her idiocy, stop that thought. Put that train of thought in a timeout and think about a good moment. It takes practice, but it will eventually not require the conscious shift of gears to a happier moment from the wedding. And note that she clearly doesn't know how to focus on anything but the negative or just enjoy special moments. That's on her. You can't change her, but you can change how much emotion energy you spend on her. Create a go-to phrase and use it every time the negative memories of your MIL enter your mind. This could be a sentence e.g., "She loves attention and I refuse to give it to her, especially when she has no place in my mind." Repeat as required. Or it could just be a few short words, e.g., "EFF off Mel." You might never speak the words aloud, but you're free to use them mentally every time Mil's actions intrude on your thoughts and memories. Focus only on the positive. To paraphrase Elizabeth Bennet, only remember the past which gives you pleasure. LOL. Love a surprise Austen reference. And a mantra is a good idea. Every time you start thinking about a negative MIL event from your wedding, try picking 3 happy memories of things you want to treasure. If your mind starts to wander, start again. Think about each memory in detail. The bouquet, for example. How did it smell? How velvety were the flowers? What did you choose? What colors were they? Put all of those elements together like a mini video reel in your mind. Do the mini video thing for at least 3 memories, then string all the memories together so you have a longer memory reel. Then, whenever you find one of the MIL memories creeping in, play your memory reel in your head. If MIL creeps in part way through, start again and replay the video reel. Over time you can add as many memories of your wedding as you like. This is a visualization technique I used to help me get rid of memories I didn't want to dwell on. Practice it often and it will become second nature to think of your treasured memories rather than that old selfish trout. Congratulations on your wedding. You basically have to reprogram your memories. When an MIL memory pops up, stop and try to remember something lovely about that day instead of how you felt. Instead of your MIL being an asshat before you walk down the aisle, try to remember that feeling of anticipation and excitement just before you say your fiancé at the end waiting for you. Try to remember your FIL's face when you have him the kerchief instead of your MIL ungratefulness. Also, info diet for future: don't tell her until you absolutely have to, and when she starts trying to make it about her, tell her, "I'm sorry, diva, this isn't your close-up. You are a supporting character in this scene and have 0 lines. Oh dear, I'm trying not to compose a rude limerick about her tantrums to print on a hanky. We need the last syllable of her name." Sometimes in stressful situation I make it better by finding something to laugh about or have an inside joke about. Like, next time you accidentally burn dinner, ask yourself, who would have ordered this? Make her into a joke. Sometimes all we can do is laugh. I do this. Before my Nana passed, she made an offhanded comment, "How could you be so stupid?" because I didn't get a receipt from an ATM. This was completely out of character for her, but now it's basically a running gag / way to remember her. Try to remind yourself that this behavior makes her look 100x worse than it made you feel. My MIL did very similar things on our wedding day, also very recently married, and it quite literally showed in the photos. Half of what she did I 100% predicted prior to the day, and the other half was immediately noted by my close family and friends who are aware of her antics and brought it up to me later, which honestly made me feel very validated. As much as these moments are very frustrating and disappointing, like you already said, you were still able to have an amazing day. Remind yourself of the good moments and remember all of her actions truly only affect how other people view her as a self-centered rude clown who has very little self-awareness of how to behave. You aren't the loser in this situation. Proof Mill is delusional. DH has nutso in family therapy because he's uncomfortable with the idea of her around our new LO. The counselor asked her what her relationship was like with me. Nutso said it was a great relationship. DH made a face that the counselor asked about. He said he wouldn't speak on my behalf, but he doesn't feel it's great or even okay. He told her I have no desire to continue a relationship with her, and she was shocked. She admitted to calling me the wrong name a few times, DH's ex-girlfriend from years ago who she absolutely hated, but other than that we were great. She claims she includes me in everything and is always reaching out to me, not true even a little, then went on to say that she didn't care for my family because they and me are stuck-up rich people. I laughed out loud. I knew she thought this, but it was great to have confirmation. I grew up lower middle class. My dad was military and my mom worked odd jobs but chose to stay home mostly and be involved in our schools. My extended family is not wealthy. We just aren't trashy people. We drink but we don't get loud and obnoxious, so we're obviously not fun. DH asked if I would attend a session. I told him I would go to tell her the many reasons why I no longer want her in my life. He said that's all he asks is that I speak my piece to her. He doesn't feel comfortable talking on my behalf because he has a hard enough time remembering all of his own shit. He's learned to suppress so many emotions because of her. His first couple of sessions he went in with notes. The counselor is really great at seeing through his mom and her antics, so I feel like he's getting more confidence in dealing with her. And I should note he's fine going little to no contact and has said several times he just wants a break from her, but I believe he's scared to cut her out since he doesn't have many blood relatives. It is recommended to not have joint therapy sessions with the abuser. If you don't want to attend, I would refuse with no excuses. I'm very torn. Part of me just doesn't care about ever seeing her, but the other part wants to speak up for all the times I never did. I don't like that her narrative is that we have a great relationship. We don't and never have. Therapist opinion here: if you're not 100% comfortable going, don't go to the family session. We are willing to speak to family members individually to better understand the dynamics. Just giving that insight can really help DH get more directive therapy. If you do go, say your piece then bounce. You seem to have gone NC and are content. You don't need to defend yourself to your abusive MIL. Again, work with boundaries you are most comfortable with. Last minute thought: to a letter to DH's therapist could also suffice. Do you think you attending therapy and listing your issues with MIL will lead to a change in her behavior? If not, it might not be worth the emotional energy. I think after a decade of me walking on eggshells around her and biting my tongue to be the bigger person I deserve to let T fly and speak my piece. I don't care what her take is on what I have to say. Mainly because she has never given a second thought to what or how she says things to me. I would go. You aren't having therapy with MIL. Be clear with the therapist about that. Hand the therapist a bullet point list of the crap she has done. Then leave. Ask to meet with therapist alone if that is better. Honestly, I would go, speak your truth, and then leave the second she starts to argue. To me this feels like a release and a great way to get out those emotions, but I'm also super toxic, so not good advice LMAO. If you want to have your say, go and do it. But remember, you can leave at any time. It seems like DH would value you providing your experiences and that the therapist is supportive and not blindly on MIL's side. You would do it for DH and yourself, not for her or with any illusions it will change her behavior. So I think it could be worth it. What would be the point of going? Attending will only harm you as she will deny all wrongdoing in the meeting. It won't help DH because he may have hoped that you will also try harder to have a relationship with his mother, as he is doing. I suggest you write down all the things she's done to you and the feelings she has evoked. Then end the essay with, "I'm not interested with having a relationship with this woman, but I support my husband's therapy journey." If she realizes she's never going to get access to LO, I guarantee she will refuse to go back to family therapy. She has a different agenda for going to these meetings than DH. Family don't end in blood. Great thing about that is you get to choose your family. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.